Welcome, and welcome to the dark side of everyday influence. Today, I'm going to reveal the secrets behind one of the most potent psychological tools in our arsenal: reciprocity. This isn't your everyday, feel-good advice. It's a deep dive into how a small gesture can set the wheels of control in motion, allowing you to subtly guide others without them even realizing it. Let's start with the basics. Reciprocity is rooted in one of the oldest human instincts: the need to repay a favor. When someone does something for us, we feel a powerful, almost instinctual urge to return that favor. It's a simple, natural response, but when harnessed correctly, it becomes a tool for manipulation. Imagine entering a room and offering a seemingly trivial act of kindness, a genuine compliment, a small gift, or even just a helping hand. In that moment, you've done more than just be nice. You've planted a seed of indebtedness in the minds of those around you. Consider this: by extending a favor, you create a psychological ledger in the other person's mind. They begin to tally up the good deed you've done for them, and soon there's an unspoken pressure to balance the scales. This balance, once tipped in your favor, can be exploited to gain compliance. Whether you're in a casual conversation or meeting someone for the first time, that small gesture can serve as the cornerstone for deeper influence. You're not just offering help, you're establishing a bond, a subtle contract that compels them to return your kindness in ways that benefit you. Now let's turn the lens to the darker aspects of reciprocity. In everyday life, this principle isn't just a benign social norm. It's a strategic maneuver. The art lies in the timing and the subtlety of your gesture. For example, imagine you're at a networking event. Instead of merely exchanging business cards, you take a moment to assist someone with a minor challenge, a quick piece of advice, or a small, thoughtful action that seems almost incidental. But here's the catch: that person now carries a hidden sense of obligation. They're more inclined to favor you in future interactions, whether that means introducing you to influential contacts or offering assistance when you least expect it. It's a carefully orchestrated play where your initial act of kindness triggers a domino effect of compliance. In the realm of dark psychology, reciprocity isn't just about being generous. It's about control. It's about understanding that every little favor can be transformed into a strategic tool, a lever that gently nudges people towards your desired outcome. You become the architect of their emotional responses. Every time you offer something small, you're reinforcing the idea that you're a giver of value, a person who is worthy of trust and respect. And once that trust is established, people naturally lean in, eager to reciprocate in kind, often to their own detriment. This is where the dark twist comes in. You're not merely exchanging favors, you're setting up a system of influence where your initial act of kindness becomes a binding contract. The recipient, often unaware, finds themselves compelled to act in ways that align with your interests. They might think they're acting out of free will, but in reality, they're responding to the subtle debt they owe you. It's a psychological chain reaction, a silent agreement that starts with a simple gesture and evolves into a dynamic where you hold the reins. Imagine the power at your fingertips when you master this technique. In social gatherings, in meetings with strangers, even in fleeting encounters, you have the ability to shape interactions. You control the narrative, steering conversations and decisions in your favor. The elegance of reciprocity lies in its invisibility. It works so quietly, so naturally, that those influenced, they rarely realize they're being maneuvered. They only see the kindness, unaware of the calculated strategy behind it. So, as you navigate your day-to-day interactions, remember this: every small act of kindness isn't just a courtesy, it's an opportunity to weave a web of influence that, once set in motion, can lead to surprising levels of control. Use it wisely. Let the natural human need for balance work in your favor, and soon you'll find that people are not just returning favors, they're returning to you time and again. This is the dark art of reciprocity, where every gesture is a stepping stone toward undeniable influence and power. Embrace the shadows of psychology and watch as the world bends to the simple yet profound law of reciprocity. Dark art of consistency, a subtle yet potent tool that can turn everyday interactions into a carefully orchestrated dance of influence. Today, I'm going to reveal how you can leverage consistency to shape behavior and guide individuals towards your desired outcomes, all by encouraging them to commit to small, seemingly insignificant actions. Imagine meeting someone for the first time, a stranger at a networking event, a new acquaintance at a social gathering. In that initial moment, you extend a simple invitation, perhaps asking them to agree with a minor statement, sign a brief commitment, or engage in a small favor. This first yes isn't just a polite response, it's a doorway. Once they commit to that small action, an invisible chain is set in motion. The human mind is wired to seek consistency. Once you've said yes to something, it becomes much harder to say no later on. That initial agreement begins to define who they are, nudging them to act in ways that align with that first decision. The beauty and the dark brilliance of consistency lies in its subtlety. It's not about force or overt manipulation. It's about planting a seed that grows quietly in the background of someone's psyche. When a person commits to a tiny action, they create an internal ledger, a psychological contract that they feel compelled to honor. Over time, this ledger accumulates entries. Each new request you make, however small, aligns with their earlier decision, and they feel an increasing pressure to remain consistent. They're driven by an inherent need to validate their own behavior, to appear reliable and steadfast in their beliefs and actions. Consider this scenario. At a casual meetup, you ask someone to simply agree with a minor, innocuous opinion. They comply, perhaps with a slight nod or a quick verbal affirmation. Later, when you subtly escalate the situation by asking them to support a slightly larger idea, maybe endorsing a related project or contributing a small resource, they're already predisposed to agree. Why? Because saying no would force them to confront an inconsistency in their behavior. It's a psychological trap that hooks them on their own need to be coherent. In the realm of dark psychology, this technique is both art and science. It's the mastery of small steps that build into significant influence. Every yes is a building block, creating a self-perpetuating cycle of commitment. People love to see themselves as consistent. They take pride in the image they present to the world. By tapping into this desire, you subtly reframe every decision they make as part of a larger narrative that you've carefully constructed. They begin to see themselves not as independent decision makers, but as part of a sequence of actions that, once initiated, cannot be easily undone. Imagine the power you wield when you harness this method, whether it's in personal interactions, business meetings, or even online exchanges. Initiating a small commitment sets the stage for bigger moves. It's like laying down the first domino in a long, intricate chain reaction. With each subsequent request, you gently steer the conversation, the relationship, and ultimately the behavior of the other person in a direction that serves your interests. They remain unaware of the subtle pressure at work, the quiet, relentless drive to be consistent, until they find themselves fully committed to a path they didn't consciously choose. In darker terms, this isn't just about influence. It's about control. It's about constructing an environment where every action, no matter how minor, reinforces the idea that their choices are in line with your vision. By using consistency, you transform every interaction into a strategic move where the smallest gesture can unlock a cascade of compliance. The elegance of this technique is its ability to make the other person feel empowered, even as they are being guided down a path of your design. So, as you step into your daily interactions, remember, every tiny yes is a seed that can grow into a towering influence over time. Embrace the art of consistency and use it to craft a reality where your desired outcomes unfold naturally. In the game of influence, the first small commitment is the key that opens the door to a cascade of greater agreements, each one reinforcing the other, and each one drawing you ever closer to the power you seek. Harness this dark force wisely and watch as the world around you bends to the quiet, inevitable pull of consistency, of social proof. In a world where every decision is clouded by uncertainty, people naturally look to the actions of others to determine what's right, acceptable, or even desirable. This is not just a psychological quirk. It's an exploitable mechanism, a hidden lever you can use to shape behavior and guide people down the path you've carefully chosen. Imagine walking into a room full of strangers. In that moment, you're not just an individual. You're part of a larger, invisible network of behavior. Every glance, every nod, every smile from someone in that room sends a silent message. This is how we act here. And when you understand this, you hold the key to directing those around you. Social proof is the force that turns isolated actions into a collective norm. By demonstrating that others are engaging in a specific behavior, you can nudge even the most independent individuals to follow suit. Now, let's break it down. Social proof works on a simple premise. When we see others doing something, we believe it must be correct. This is why reviews, testimonials, and popularity counts wield such power in our everyday decisions. But here's where the dark twist comes in. You can manufacture this evidence. Imagine strategically placing yourself in situations where you subtly orchestrate group behavior. Whether it's at a social gathering, a networking event, or even online, you set the stage so that your target sees that everyone is already on board. The effect is almost magical. Suddenly, resistance fades and compliance becomes the natural, almost inevitable outcome. Consider this scenario. You're at an event and you casually mention how a particular idea or product is gaining traction among influential circles. You might reference a trend that's sweeping through a community, or drop a few names of people known for their savvy choices. The moment your audience hears that, their minds automatically shift. They begin to ask themselves, If so many respected individuals are doing this, maybe I should too. It's a silent pressure, an unspoken contract that nudges them into alignment with the group. But don't stop at mere suggestions. To truly harness the power of social proof, you need to be deliberate. Create environments where the behavior you want becomes the default. In a meeting, arrange for a few influential voices to voice their approval of your ideas early on. On social media, curate content that shows a vibrant community already engaged with your concept. Even subtle cues, like strategically placed endorsements or carefully crafted testimonials, can amplify the perception that your path is the one that everyone else is taking. The more visible and consistent the behavior, the stronger the pull becomes. Let's talk about the subtle art of observation. People are naturally wired to be social creatures. They yearn for belonging and validation, and nothing speaks louder than the actions of peers. When they see a crowd, even a small one, following a particular trend, their internal alarm bells tell them this must be the right way. You can exploit this by staging situations where your desired behavior is not only prevalent, but also celebrated. Think of it as setting a psychological trap, a scenario where the mere sight of a group's actions compels an individual to join, regardless of their initial hesitations. What's even more intriguing is the layer of self-reinforcement built into social proof. Once someone takes that first step, once they publicly conform, they're locked into a cycle. They've made a choice, and the need to be consistent will drive them to continue aligning with the group, even when new circumstances arise. This is the ultimate feedback loop of influence. You plant the seed, and then watch as it grows, nurtured by the natural human desire to belong and be right. Now, let's be clear. The power of social proof is as subtle as it is potent. It operates behind the scenes, often unnoticed, weaving its influence into every interaction. When you master this tool, you'll find that controlling the narrative becomes second nature. Whether you're guiding a conversation, setting up a scene, or crafting a digital presence, social proof can be your silent ally, a dark, almost invisible force that makes your audience feel safe, validated, and ultimately compelled to follow. So, as you venture out into your daily life, remember this: every group, every gathering, every trending topic is an opportunity. Use the principles of social proof to create a reality where your ideas aren't just suggestions. They're the only choice. Embrace the dark allure of conformity and watch as people, almost unwillingly, align themselves with your vision. This is the essence of social proof. And in the realm of influence, it's the secret that can transform you from a mere participant into the master of the game. In a world where authority often relies on empty proclamations and hollow promises, it is your deeds, your tangible, deliberate actions that hold real weight. Today, we delve into the stark truth that let your actions speak louder than the empty promises of authority, and explore how this principle can be harnessed to command respect, instill fear, and shape reality itself. Imagine a scene where countless voices echo with grand declarations of power, leaders, influencers, and figures of authority who promise change, order, and control. Yet as the dust settles, what remains are only words, fleeting and insubstantial. These promises are like smoke. They fill the air momentarily, but they leave no trace when the wind blows. In contrast, your actions are like a roaring blaze in the night. They illuminate the darkness, casting long, undeniable shadows that others cannot ignore. When you act, you demonstrate your power in a way that mere words could never achieve. Consider the psychological underpinnings of this concept. Humans are wired to look for proof, to be swayed not by promises, but by evidence. When you take decisive action, you create an indelible mark on the minds of those who witness it. It is this mark, this visual, visceral proof of your intent and capability, that compels others to take notice and follow suit. Your actions build a narrative, a story of power and purpose that transcends the ephemeral nature of spoken promises. They say, without uttering a word, I am here, I am in control, and I deliver results. Now, let's step into the darker realm of this strategy. In the shadows of influence, where manipulation and control intertwine, empty promises are the tools of the naive. Authority figures who rely solely on their words are like fragile glass sculptures, beautiful to behold, yet easily shattered by the forces of reality. You, however, have the opportunity to become a force of nature. When you act, you're not just speaking. You're declaring war on the inefficacy of empty rhetoric. Every step you take, every calculated move, resonates with the certainty that actions cannot be fabricated or feigned. They are raw, real, and irrevocable. Imagine a scenario where you are surrounded by those who doubt, hesitate, or cling to the comfort of outdated hierarchies. In such moments, your actions become the silent directive, the unyielding command that transforms skepticism into submission. Whether it's a subtle gesture of defiance, a bold move in a critical moment, or simply the consistent execution of your plans, your actions dismantle the illusion of traditional authority. They expose the impotence of empty words and pave the way for a new order, one built on the undeniable foundation of demonstrated power. This is not a call for reckless abandon, but for calculated, strategic behavior. Every move you make should be precise, purposeful, and unapologetically bold. Let the world see that you are not swayed by the promises of those who hide behind their titles. Instead, show them that true power is earned through decisive action. In every encounter, whether in boardrooms, social gatherings, or digital realms, let your deeds be the metric by which you are measured. Command attention, not with a loud voice or flashy titles, but with the silent, profound impact of your actions. In the grand theater of life, where authority is often a mirage built on words, you have the chance to rewrite the script. Let your actions carve your legacy in the annals of power. They will speak for you when your words are forgotten, echoing long after the promises of others have faded into oblivion. Embrace this dark, transformative strategy and watch as the empty promises of authority crumble in the face of your undeniable, relentless force. Remember, in the game of power, it is not the empty promises that leave a mark. It is the cold, hard reality of action. So, step forward with determination, let every move count, and make sure that in the end, your actions speak louder than any hollow promise ever could. Where knowledge is the currency of power and credibility is your most formidable weapon. Today, we unravel the secret of presenting yourself as a beacon of wisdom and authority, a skill that not only commands respect, but also bends others to your will. In a world awash with empty promises and hollow proclamations, your ability to reference authoritative sources and exhibit deep knowledge becomes the key that unlocks the door to unwavering persuasion. Imagine stepping into a room where doubt and uncertainty hover like a mist. In such a moment, your words carry weight, not simply because you speak, but because you speak with the authority of those who came before you. When you seamlessly weave references to established experts and revered texts into your narrative, you are not merely sharing opinions. You are declaring that your every word is validated by the giants of knowledge. This technique transforms your message from a mere statement into an irrefutable command. Your audience instinctively trusts a voice that echoes the wisdom of countless authorities, and that trust is the bedrock upon which influence is built. But let's dive a little deeper into the darker underbelly of this art. In the covert corridors of persuasion, the appearance of omniscience is as potent as any overt display of power. It's not enough to know, you must also appear to know. This is where preparation meets performance. Immerse yourself in your subject matter until every fact, every statistic, and every authoritative reference is at your fingertips. When you speak, let your language be peppered with the names of renowned experts and the citations of groundbreaking studies. Even the slightest nod to a respected source is enough to create a psychological contract with your audience. They will assume that you have done your homework, that your claims are backed by rigorous research, and that your opinions carry the weight of hard-earned truth. Consider the impact of a well-timed reference during a heated discussion or a critical meeting. Instead of merely stating your view, you invoke a renowned study or quote an established authority. Suddenly, your perspective isn't just another opinion. It's a logical conclusion drawn from the immutable facts of science and history. The listeners are drawn into your narrative, compelled by the assurance that comes from verified knowledge. In that moment, you are no longer just a speaker. You are a harbinger of truth in a world where uncertainty reigns. The dark allure of this approach lies in its subtle manipulation of perception. People are naturally inclined to follow those who seem to have all the answers, who align themselves with established truths. By presenting yourself as a confluence of wisdom and authority, you create an environment where your audience feels compelled to conform to your perspective. Their allegiance is not born out of blind obedience, but from a deep-seated belief that your guidance is the only rational path forward. Every reference to a celebrated expert, every citation of a groundbreaking study, serves as a stepping stone in constructing an impenetrable fortress of credibility around your persona. Moreover, as you continue to build your arsenal of knowledge, you inadvertently set a trap that lures your audience deeper into your sphere of influence. Once they witness your mastery over the subject, their doubts evaporate. The need to align with what appears to be an unassailable source of truth compels them to accept your recommendations without question. This is the essence of leveraging authority. It's not coercion through force, but the magnetic pull of undeniable expertise that transforms skepticism into unquestioning loyalty. So, as you navigate the intricate landscape of influence, remember this. Every time you reference a trusted authority or present well-researched information, you are not just sharing knowledge, you are casting a spell. That spell binds your audience, drawing them into your narrative until they can no longer distinguish between your words and the truths they revere. Embrace this dark yet effective strategy and let your every utterance serve as a testament to your command over the realm of ideas. In the end, It is not the empty boast of authority that wins the day. It is the quiet, relentless power of proven knowledge that shapes the world and bends it to your will. In a world where every interaction is a battleground for power, the ability to build rapport is the gateway to controlling minds and shaping decisions. Today, we reveal how to master the technique of liking by finding common ground, offering genuine compliments, and delving into the interests of others. When people like you, they naturally lean toward your suggestions, often without even realizing they're being steered. Picture this: you walk into a room, and before you speak a single word, you are already being judged. The eyes that fall upon you are assessing not only your appearance, but your demeanor, your energy, a silent evaluation of your potential to be a trustworthy ally. It's in this precise moment that the dark magic of liking begins. The key lies in making a connection, no matter how fleeting, that convinces others you are one of them. This is achieved by quickly identifying shared experiences or interests. When you say, "I too have walked that lonely road," or "I understand the thrill of taking risks," you are not just making conversation. You are forging an unspoken bond. That bond plants a seed of trust, one that will grow into a full-blown allegiance over time. Let's venture deeper into the mechanics of this strategy. Liking is more than a simple smile or a polite nod. It's an intricate dance of social cues and emotional manipulation. When you offer a genuine compliment, you do more than praise someone's appearance or wit. You subtly affirm their value, boosting their self-esteem in a way that makes them crave further validation. In doing so, you position yourself as the source of that affirmation. They begin to associate their positive feelings with you, and soon enough, your presence becomes indispensable. This is not flattery for the sake of kindness alone. It is a calculated move designed to lower defenses and build rapport. Now, consider the power of mirroring, an often overlooked yet deeply effective technique. By subtly mimicking another person's body language, tone, or even choice of words, you create an almost hypnotic sense of similarity. It's as if you're saying, "I am one of you." This deep sense of similarity fosters an environment of trust, making your target more receptive to your influence. In the dark underbelly of persuasion, mirroring becomes a tool of psychological ensnarement. It is not merely imitation. It is the embodiment of their ideal companion, a figure who seems to understand every unspoken thought and emotion. Furthermore, delve into the notion of genuine interest. When you display curiosity about someone's passions, fears, and dreams, you are effectively holding up a mirror to their soul. This gesture, when performed with an air of sincere engagement, creates a space where they feel seen and understood. The more you learn about them, the more you can tailor your interactions to reinforce that connection. Each shared secret, every moment of disclosed vulnerability, tightens the invisible threads of loyalty. And here lies the dark twist. While they believe they are sharing on their own volition, they are, in fact, unwittingly inviting you to mold their thoughts and behaviors to your advantage. Let's not forget the strategic use of humor and lighthearted banter. In moments of levity, you have the opportunity to disarm skepticism and lower emotional barriers. A well-timed joke or playful tease not only endears you to your audience, but also reinforces the notion that you are approachable and relatable. This subtle charm offensive is not just about making someone laugh. It's about embedding yourself into their emotional framework as a trusted confidant. And once that framework is in place, influence flows naturally. Imagine the cumulative effect of these tactics in your everyday encounters, be it a business meeting, a casual social gathering, or even an online interaction. The people you engage with begin to see you as a kindred spirit, someone whose values mirror their own, someone whose presence offers comfort and affirmation. They are more inclined to listen, to trust, and ultimately to follow your lead. In the realm of dark psychology, this is your golden ticket. When people like you, their critical defenses weaken, and you gain access to the deepest layers of their decision-making process. As you move forward, remember that the art of liking is not a mere act of social nicety. It is a calculated strategy, a delicate yet powerful tool in the game of influence. By consistently finding common ground, delivering genuine compliments that resonate, and showing unwavering interest in the lives of others, you will weave a web of loyalty and trust so strong that your influence becomes irresistible. In a world where empty words fail and authority crumbles, let your ability to connect on a personal level become your ultimate weapon. Embrace the darkness within this art and watch as your charm transforms into a force of undeniable control. Step into this power with both caution and audacity, and know that in the shadowed corridors of human interaction, it is not the loudest voice, but the one that is liked that ultimately commands the throne. Shadowed realm of influence, where the allure of scarcity transforms ordinary opportunities into coveted treasures that spark a burning desire. Today, we're going to explore the potent power of scarcity, a psychological trigger that makes anything appear irresistible simply by hinting that it is rare or about to vanish. This isn't a lesson in mere marketing gimmicks. It's an exploration into the dark art of manipulation, where the perception of limited availability becomes the catalyst for uncontrollable desire. Imagine for a moment that you have in your grasp something unique, something that isn't available to everyone. You subtly hint that this opportunity is not everlasting, that only a chosen few will ever experience it. In that instant, the human mind shifts gears. It is no longer a matter of simple preference. It transforms into an urgent race against time. This is the magic of scarcity. By emphasizing that an item, opportunity, or idea is limited, you ignite a primal fear, the fear of missing out, often known as FOMO. The mere suggestion that something might slip away forever compels people to act, almost as if they are under a spell. Let's break this down further. Scarcity operates by tapping into our deepest anxieties and desires. When you mention that an opportunity is available for only a short time, you trigger a sense of urgency that bypasses logical thought. Your audience isn't evaluating the offer with a calm, measured mindset. Instead, they are swept up in a wave of excitement mixed with anxiety, their hearts racing as they contemplate the loss of what might be their only chance. It's a psychological trap, a meticulously laid snare that makes the alternative, missing out, seem far more daunting than the act of seizing the moment. Consider the scene. You're in a room with people who are all waiting, perhaps unaware of the fleeting chance that stands before them. Then you step forward with calm authority and announce, "This is a one-time opportunity. Only a few spots remain." The atmosphere shifts instantly. Conversations fall silent, and all eyes turn toward you as if drawn by an invisible force. In that charged moment, what you've done is more than just convey information. You've ignited a burning desire. Every individual in that room feels the weight of urgency, compelled by the fear that if they hesitate, they will be left out, relegated to a life of regret for having missed something so uniquely valuable. But scarcity isn't limited to physical objects or tangible opportunities. It also applies to ideas and experiences. When you present a concept as exclusive, you elevate its status in the minds of your audience. Suddenly, it is not just an idea. It becomes a coveted secret, a privilege reserved for those who act swiftly. This transformation is profound. You take something ordinary and, through the lens of scarcity, make it extraordinary. The concept of rarity adds layers of desirability and prestige so that what was once accessible to everyone now becomes an emblem of elite choice. However, as with all dark arts, the use of scarcity requires precision and balance. Overdo it, and you risk breeding skepticism. Your audience might begin to suspect that the scarcity is artificial, a trick designed solely to manipulate their behavior. The art lies in subtlety. You must hint at the fleeting nature of the opportunity without screaming desperation. The rarity should feel natural, like an inherent quality of the offering, rather than a manufactured illusion. When executed correctly, this approach is seamless, almost invisible, yet its impact is undeniable. Now, imagine harnessing this power in your daily interactions. Whether you're launching a product, presenting a new idea, or even sharing a unique experience on a platform like YouTube, the principle remains the same. Frame your offering as something scarce, unique, and available for only a limited time or to a limited audience. Let the echo of limited availability reverberate through your message, creating an aura of exclusivity that no one can resist. The more you emphasize its rarity, the stronger the magnetic pull becomes, driving your audience to take action before the window of opportunity closes. This is the dark allure of scarcity, a strategic, almost hypnotic tool that transforms indifference into eager desire. It's about controlling the narrative of value by dictating that what you offer is not just another option, but a once-in-a-lifetime chance. As you step into this role, remember that every mention of scarcity is a call to arms, an invitation to act quickly and decisively. It's the knowledge that in the realm of influence, the perception of rarity is a weapon that can shape decisions, mold behavior, and ultimately command the world around you. Embrace this art with a sense of calculated purpose. Let your words and actions weave a tale of exclusivity and urgency, and watch as your audience, gripped by the fear of missing out, rushes to claim what you so expertly present as rare and indispensable. This is the power of scarcity, a dark, irresistible force that turns hesitation into action and transforms everyday opportunities into legendary moments of influence.